Welcome back to Arcade. I am Super Tommy, and in this video, we're going to look at creating buttons for your Phaser 3 game. So now what kind of games have you guys been working on? Do let me know in the comments below. I'm actually working on an infinite runner using tiled to make the world. So I would love to hear what you guys are doing. So let me know what kind of games you're working on and how I can perhaps help you guys. So let's get started with this video and put a button in our game. So there's a few ways to do it. And in this particular video, we're going to look at using the RexUI plugin library and use the button from there. So let's get started. So I have my project already set up here, as you can see. This is running the Phaser 3 parcel template from our GitHub at github.com/arcade. You can just find it here if you want to use this. If not, that shouldn't matter. You can still follow along with the code if you have a running Phaser project. We're using TypeScript in this particular example. If you're doing modern JavaScript, it should just translate more or less one-to-one without any types. So here I have the RexUI button plugin that we can use. And so let's actually just run our game to make sure it is currently working. Let's see. We're using parcel and TypeScript. So we got it at localhost 8000. So there's our game running. What we're going to do, let's bring up the console just to make sure there's no errors. What we're going to do is create another scene, put a button in that scene, and then have our other new scene go to this scene. This is a quick test for the button, make sure that's working. So let's do that first. So in scenes, we just call this the, let's say, button demo scene. We're going to import Phaser from Phaser and then export default class button demo scene extends phaser.scene. Constructor, super. You can give it just the scene key here or the entire config. We're going to call this demo scene. We're going to preload nothing. We have a create. So this would be just a black screen. So console.log demo button scene. Then we go to our main to launch that scene instead. Button demo scene. Now, button demo scene. So let's actually check some docs, make sure of something. I'm pretty sure this does work. That it's not going to run all the scenes together. There's another way to register scenes as well, other than passing into the scenes key here. So we want classes, phaser.game, and then we want the game config scene. A scene or scenes to add to the game is serial given the first is started, the remainder start only if they have active true. Okay, great. So this works too. The other way that you may have seen in some other videos that we've done is you would do that and then game.scene.add, and then you would give it a key. And so like we would say, hello world scene, for example, instead of adding it here, right? You can do all the scenes this way, this game.add, this game.scene.add approach. But we can also just stick it as an array in the scene field. So we'll just undo that, leave that, okay. Now let's go back here. So that's that. So let's look at our project, blank, black scene and it has this log, so this is happening. So that's good. So now we want to install the RexUI buttons. So let's see, how does Rainbow Rex tell us about installing? So we do have npm, so let's just install via npm here. Just move myself so we can better see. ls npm. So or install Phaser 3 Rex plugins. Go. Now, of course, if you're not using npm, there is this option here that Rex has to load it from the GitHub repository, well, the raw file of the GitHub repository. Okay, we have that installed. Now, back in our main, we're going to do import UI plugin from Phaser 3 Rex plugins templates. UI plugin. Cool. Now in config, we have plugins key. So we're using TypeScript, so what we could do here is actually give us more type context. Types dot config core dot game config. So this you can actually find what this is supposed to be in the docs. You'll see this is game config, and we are in phaser.types.core. So phaser.types.core.gameconfig. Back to Rex plugins, okay. So we should be able to get some help. There we go. So scene. Then we want, so key, calling this RexUI plugin. UI plugin mapping. You see VS Code is helping me out with the fields that are expected. This is only possible because we are using TypeScript and telling the type here. Although theoretically, if you just wrote it in line here, you should also get typing or type help. Yeah, that is another option. If you would prefer not to have a variable holding the config first. And if you're not using TypeScript, you're just using JavaScript with VS Code, it should be able to pick up the typing information like that. All right, we have that. So that's how you, okay, good. Let's see if we get any errors. Run it. Nope. npm run start. Let's see, it's building. It's building. We may need some images for our button. We'll see, so that it looks sort of nice, but let's just see what RexUI does by default. So we add buttons. Okay, the parcel is done. Reference error. WebGL render is not defined. Yes, I've seen this error. Let's go. So this is a common error that I've seen reported on the Phaser chat, Discord chat, if you guys are in there. Now, in the arcade blog, we've done a RexUI plugin. Let's just see if I can remember how we did it. Let's see. Okay, we did that. UI plugin. Okay. That seems to be about what we did. UI plugin, Rex UI plugin from UI plugin. This name should not matter. Phaser 3 Rex plugins, templates, UI plugin. So this is a defines. This is a Webpack environment define. I have no notes on what happened. Let's see. What is? Definitely seen this problem, and it did go away unexpectedly. Let's see. Parcel, Webpack, environment define. Right, this is Webpack's define plugin. Hmm. I even remember seeing these GitHub issues. No? Okay, Parcel Webpack define plugin keys. Yeah, define plugin global constants, right? Okay, global constants. How does Parcel handle this? So theoretically, if you're using Webpack, you may not have Parcel. You may not have this problem at all. Build time and vars consts. Parcel bundle. Yep. Yes, this is the issue. .env. Maybe I added a .env to my project. It's plausible. Let's try it. .env. So we know we're actually using WebGL renderer. I believe it was this. I don't remember the .env notation. Okay. That. Restart parcel. No. Let's actually terminal. New terminal. So cd, let's see, we should have that project. So let's see, cd RexUI text input. Let's open this. We do have a .env that is set here. Fascinating. Okay. Okay, this is the package JSON. Okay, nothing looks particularly wrong here. Here's the .env. Let's just close no modules. All right, let's try deleting the parcel cache. npm run start back in our, no, wrong terminal. Go back to the original. Okay, npm run start. So we have our env here, .env file. Parseling usually builds really fast unless it's the first time. Then it's a little bit slower. So we deleted the cache. But sometimes you do need to do that if it's caching things. Okay, that is not working. Let's see. Back to here. Okay. Okay, .env. Let's see. Did I add another plugin? I don't remember doing that. This. Oh, let's try. Let's actually see if this other project works at all. So npm run start. This is the RexUI text input project that I've done before for that blog post you saw. So we should be running in the same spot. This does work. So that is a good sign. Now he's going to know what we did differently. Okay. That's RexUI plugin. Let's see, what did we do? Plugin scene in global. What do we got so far? Plugins scene. We should be fine. RexUI from there. That seems good. Everything seems good. RexUI plugin. Check our index. Make sure nothing here is get an or shouldn't matter. Here's the .env parcel source index 4800, 8000. That's good. That's good. We can also delete dists, although dist should be deleted. You know, why not? Delete. All right, so let's stop this. So we do know it should work. We have the same .env. Now I highly doubt. And adding a blank line to the end of the file is a problem. Just copy this. I'm going to copy it wrong somehow. Okay. Package JSON. This is good. That's good. npm run start. Make it happen. This is a very common error. I see this a lot. Either people don't run into it or they do run into it. And then when they do something, it seems almost impossible. So we'll see if we can actually solve it right now. All right, refresh. It does not work. Let's try reading this error a little bit. Yes. From parcel main TS, that requires, can't pass because I'm using TypeScript, can it? Let's see. That would be interesting. Okay. Let's do that. Rerun. Nope. Nothing to do with that. .env. So that's good. That's the same. Really shouldn't be any of this. Plugins, scene. I'm going to try a new browser window. Let's try all the things. No, it's wishful thinking. Delete cache. Cache deleting may be important, but dist is getting deleted. I think it says, and you can it says here, dist has been removed. There should be nothing in here. Yeah. So deleting dist won't do anything. It does already do that in this particular project. Nope. So it has worked once before. Cannot possibly be this. This is a build time problem. .env. Let's see. What versions? 1.11. That really shouldn't be the issue. Real world engineering. Sometimes things just do not work for the most ridiculous reasons. We got the .env there. Parcel does just pick up .envs. Is that not correct? This works. Env, ice cream, true. Let's actually check something here. WebGL render. WebGL render. Let's look at these Rex plugins, shall we? Plugins. Shape game objects. Shape. Round rectangle. Render. Render. WebGL render is not defined. You know what? Did I actually go in and hold on? Let's see. It's always plausible that I actually went in and changed some of the code. Okay, let's just go to round rectangle shape, round rectangle render. I did. Yes. All right, so that will, yeah, that is what that GitHub issue said, isn't it? Let's just go back. Yes. Let's see. Okay. Write another file. This is now in text base. GameObjects text. So this is not the best. Obviously, doing this is a problem if you ever update the library. But for most of you, you may be using Webpack. And actually, if not, here, let's do this. Instead of doing this, this is no good. Generally, you should not be changing files inside no modules. We're going to do this instead. I'm going to go right back to TypeScript because I just prefer it. So just go back to TypeScript. And okay. What we're going to do, these errors are fine. We're going to actually grab it from here. Yep. So we'll do, we're not going to use npm basically, but okay. So scene.load. So here's what we're going to do instead. Okay, just copy that. So instead of following these, we got to do scene.load. Okay, we're going to load it into our button. So let's get rid of this. And I'm going to go to preload. So it's going to be not scene, it's very in the scene. I'm pretty sure it's this.load. Okay. There's that. This is TypeScript. Change this back to TypeScript. And it may still not find the files, will it? Okay. There we go. The takeaway here is if you're using Webpack, that should be fine. If you're not using Webpack, then you should probably just use, let's close this, you should probably just use the minified file and load it from the web. can also download that file and import it into your project that way. That is another option. We're going to leave this as is for now. If you want to see how to download that file imported, let me know in the comments below, and we will do that in another video. So now that's working, let's get back to it and make a button. So the button making code should be identical, right? Yes. There's a button config, so we actually can just do, so this is add buttons. Let's just copy Rex's example. So there is Rex's example. Okay. Right, we don't have any of this, so it's gonna be this. Yes, because we added RexUI. So what we're gonna do, we're using TypeScript, we're gonna make a, call it RexUI.d.ts, and we're going to add, that's the GameObject factory, right? This dot scene dot RexUI. So this is scene plugin. Okay, so declare namespace phaser dot scenes dot, nope, phaser, where is the scene plugin? Documentation. Scene plugin. What's the namespace? Phaser dot scenes dot scene plugin. Okay, right. Okay. And then interface scene plugin. All right. And now we're adding RexUI, which is of type what? Does Rex have TypeScript types? He may not. Let's see. There's no types list. No. Doesn't, let me just scroll. Doesn't look like it. That's fine. We're just going to call it, yeah, there's no type files. Package.json, does that define a type? Type. I think it's called typing or typings. No. All right, so Rex does not have, that's okay. We're just going to call this any. It's not great, but fixes the error. We know there's .add, there's buttons, so we can have much less help. So that's background, buttons, button, game object. Okay, so this is an interesting example that has things. Let's do some read-in. Game object background, so that's optional. Buttons, array of game objects. So let's just not have it. What does this make us? Expand false undefined. This dot scene dot RexUI isn't defined. Oh no, this dot, hold on. Okay, I misunderstood that. What is this? This is the scene. This dot RexUI. Phaser dot scenes. There we go. Okay. Now we don't get anything because okay. Buttons. Okay, so I guess we need to give it some more import class. Well, I'm pretty sure this is correct. Now once we have the whole plugin, we don't need to actually do this part. And okay, but it does look like it needs background, which is fine. What we're gonna do is, let's go here. So we're gonna use some graphics here. Let's see. Um, Great. Let's see. Let's look at what we got. Here are some, let's see, where is Kenny's, this is from kenny.nl. If you guys are not familiar, he's got great assets you can use. Here's some UI assets, so we're gonna actually just go with that. Let's say button. How about that? All right, let's go with that. One of these. How about this button 2? And then close no modules and review in Finder. We're going to add a new folder, public new folder assets. Paste that in there, blue button 02. Let's see how this goes. So we are going to load that button demo, plugin, and then this .load.image. We're going to go call this button, let's call this button 1, assets, blue button 02.png. Let's see, that's complaining, space. There's no comma here. So theoretically, background game object, we're going to do, let's call this background, this.add.image button -1. No. Right, but actually I just put it at 400, 300, and call this background. Can do this, okay. That's my cat, that's my dog looking at a cat. Dog. See, so now we have a button here, doesn't do anything. So let's keep going at these notes. So buttons, button game object, button game object. So what is button game object? Let's see. Let's see if Rex has any more information on this. Not really. How can we know what this is? So we're going to add, we can read, array of button game objects. Fascinating. Well, what if we put the background in here too? Well, let's see. There must be a click. Okay, so there is a click. Click, mode, pointer up. What's my callback? Fire click event when touch press. Fire click event released. So button value previous value. Button click it. Click event is okay. Is there an example of click? Button. Oh, I think I saw that here. Button.on, button.click. Buttons. All right, let's just see what this does. Buttons.on, button.click. So we're going to get button, index, pointer, event. So let's just do console.log button. What do we get? Does clicking work? Pointer up. Does work. There's no animation, but perhaps this is how, that's what this means. We'll just pick another one. 3. Okay. Let's paste this in here. Okay. Now let's load. We'll call this blue button 3. We're calling this button 2, which could be confusing. Maybe change that. Const button. This.add.image. Same place. Button -2. Not impact. image.add. Okay. Instead of background, let's put button. What do we get? Nothing. It does click. Obviously, we can do just to do what I was planning to do. Dot run start. And we called our hello world scene hello world. So this should at least work. We can figure out how to make the button a little bit nicer. So boom. All right, that does work. Fantastic. At least the core part of the button does indeed work. Pointer over. Now I would have to expect that this would handle the up, over, out states for us. Doesn't really make sense to try and roll that ourselves. So let's just see if we can figure out what's going on here. Type, is that set? Type undefined. No favor default value. Okay. Let's see, is there a background? We fit the size of the grid table. So how about this? How about this? Could it be this? I don't know, just guessing. No. Doesn't do anything. Okay, so that's the game object of background. This probably means something else. This is clicking. Set value callback. So that's the properties pointer over get element, get button, get element, get by name add button, remove button, show hide button. Now perhaps you do have to roll your own. So if we did, let's just say we did. Okay, there were some events here. Button out, button over, button click. So let's see. Does this, we don't know what this returns because there's no typing information. Okay. Buttons dot on, button dot over. Looks like it takes the same stuff. All right. Now, okay, so that's over. So now we're also going to need out. Okay. Let's just see what it does. Console.log over. And then when it goes out, console.log out. Cool. Over, out, over. Oh, probably for each specific button. Yeah. Okay, so plus index, right? So that's probably, well, we would just to make sure here. Boom, click, boom, over one, out, over zero, out zero, over one. Okay, so what we're gonna want to do, obviously, not obviously, but we can hide. Let's see if that does. We're gonna hide buttons. Move button, add button, show hide button. Show button. So we're gonna actually hide button. So the index, I'm guessing, is 1 because 0, 1. Let's see what that does. Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. And then on over, we want to hide 0, and then we want to, I believe it was called show button 1. Yep. I guess we could use this index value, but let's just keep it simple, and we should invert it on out. Yes. And then click. So there we go. I guess we do have to roll it ourselves. And there we go. So that's our out over state. And then when you click it, you get that. Which you could do is set another state. I guess we can just do that. Why not? This video is already pretty long, so let's just do another one. What's the state on click? Let's see. Which one would look like a good click state? Let's go. Let's go with this one. Here we go. Put this here. So here we go. This dot load dot image, but we're going to call this button 3, and it will be button 01, and we're going to call this click state. Or clicked state. This dot add dot image, same place, button, called it 3. These could be renamed. This is probably overstate. I just called that. So that we have overstate, and then we have click state. And okay, and then here, so it has to be over. So well, here's what we know. Hide every other button, right? And then buttons dot show button 2. Now, if we switch scenes too fast, you're not going to see the switch happen. So we will do this dot time dot the late call. Let's just give it like a very brief, I don't know, 200 milliseconds, and then call back. See if that does what we want. So, hide button. Okay, so there we go. Click. Oh, right. No, because we had set, or by default here is set pointer up. Let's read the docs about that a little bit more. Click. Press or 0. Fire click event when touch pressed. Fire click event when touch released. So I guess we'll have to do pointer down. There's no down, is there? And that click button down over button down out. All right, let's see. Well, so there, this is on down, which may not be ideal, but at least it looks better this way. So you see that it does in fact change and then go. We can probably actually reduce this time to be even less. But you can see this feels more like a button click, that you got the little image change. Looks like it was touched, it reacted to your input. So that is the RexUI button. There may be better ways to do it. But as you saw, this is actually the first time I've used the RexUI button, reading the documentation, going through the actual code, debugging it live in real time. And that's the button we've got. It definitely works. You can probably add text over this, and that would work too. But there are a few more ways to do buttons, and if you check out the arcade blog and you type in button, you'll see that we actually have 3 articles currently on buttons, and none of them is about the RexUI button, so that is actually only in this video. But we are going to make a couple more videos for you to look at rolling our own button if you don't want to use a RexUI button for whatever reason, or using one of the HTML5 CSS frameworks for buttons. Since Phaser is an HTML5 game framework, we can leverage the entire ecosystem of CSS buttons in our game as well. So be sure to come back for those videos if you want to make buttons in your game.